You know that feeling, right? Your lead-acid battery seems fine one day, and the next, it just won't hold a charge. It is so frustrating. But here's the thing. Often, the whole battery isn't shot. It's just one single bad cell that's dragging the whole thing down. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to find that one weak link, safely and accurately.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into the mystery of why these batteries fail. Then, and this is super important, we'll cover your safety checklist. After that, we'll walk through a simple 3-step diagnosis, learn how to read the results like a pro, and finally, figure out what to do next.
So why are we so focused on one bad cell? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, it's because a battery is really a team of cells working together, and that team is only ever as strong as its weakest member. Let's dig into what that really means. See, inside your typical 12-volt battery, it's not just one big block of power. It's actually a chain of 6 individual 2-volt cells, all linked together in a series. They all have to work in perfect unison to give you that full 12 volts.
And this, right here, is the perfect way to think about it. The battery is a chain. A bad cell gets what's called high internal resistance, and it basically becomes a weak, rusty link. So when you put the battery under load, like you try to start your car, all that power has to flow through that one weak link, and the whole chain just breaks. The voltage for the entire battery collapses.
Okay, hold up. Before we even think about touching the battery, we have to talk about safety. Seriously, a lot of guides just kind of gloss over this, but let's be real. Getting the diagnosis right is totally useless if you don't do it safely. This part is absolutely non-negotiable.
First things first, gear up. I'm talking acid-resistant gloves and full-wrap eye protection. No excuses. Next, prep your space. You need good ventilation because these batteries can vent hydrogen gas, which is explosive. You've got to disconnect the battery from everything to prevent any short circuits, and obviously, keep any sparks or open flames far, far away.
So just to be super clear, we're dealing with 4 key risks. You've got explosive hydrogen gas, you've got corrosive battery acid that can give you nasty burns, you've got the danger of short circuits that can start a fire, and you've got a thermal risk. A bad cell can get dangerously hot, especially when we put it under a load test. You have to respect all 4. All right, safety's covered. Now for the fun part, the actual diagnosis. We're going to use a methodical 3-step process here. By combining these 3 tests, we'll get a definitive answer, and we will find that bad cell.
Our investigation is basically a 3-pronged attack. We'll start with an open circuit voltage test to get a baseline. Then we hit it with a load test to see how the cells perform under pressure. And for those of you with flooded batteries, we'll do a specific gravity test to check the health of the electrolyte itself. Using all 3 leaves absolutely no room for doubt. Step 1 is super simple. Make sure the battery is fully charged and disconnected from everything. Then just take your multimeter and check the voltage of each 2-volt cell individually. What you're hunting for is an outlier. Any cell that reads more than about 1/10 of a volt lower than all the others, that's your first suspect. Make a note of which one it is.
And now, for the real trial by fire, the load test. This is where we apply a load to the battery and measure those cell voltages again while it's working. A bad cell has nowhere to hide now. Because of that high internal resistance, its voltage will absolutely plummet, way faster and way further than any of the healthy cells.
Okay, now step 3. And listen up, this is only for those of you with a flooded battery, the kind with the removable caps. You're going to use a tool called a hydrometer to measure the specific gravity of the liquid, the electrolyte, in each cell. This is basically a direct health checkup for the cell's chemistry.
And here is the magic number you need to remember, 1.180. A healthy, fully charged cell should be up around 1.265. But if you get a reading below 1.180, that is a huge red flag. It's a dead giveaway that the cell is either toast or so badly sulfated it can't hold a charge anymore.
All right, you've done the tests, you've got your numbers written down, now it's time to play detective and put all the clues together. This is where we turn that raw data into a clear, confident diagnosis.
Just look at this chart. I mean, the difference is night and day, right? When you put it under load, the healthy cells, their voltage dips a little, but it's stable. But look at the bad cell. Its voltage just falls off a cliff. That dramatic drop is the single most important piece of evidence you're going to find.
And this little cheat sheet right here, this is your smoking gun. It brings it all together. A bad cell will consistently show lower resting voltage, that catastrophic drop under load, and, if it's a flooded battery, a really low specific gravity. If you've got one cell that ticks all 3 of those boxes, you've found your culprit. Case closed. So you did it. You followed the steps, you ran the tests, and you found the problem cell. But you know, finding the problem is really only half the battle. So what's the smart move from here?
You've officially found the weak link in the chain. So the big question is, what's your next play? Do you try to fix it? Do you replace it? What's the right call?
Here's your game plan step by step. 1. Just to be sure, double-check your readings. Confirm the diagnosis. 2. Think about how old the battery is. If it's getting on in years, this one bad cell is probably a warning that the others aren't far behind. 3. Take action. Honestly, for most people, the best and most common solution is to just replace the whole battery. And finally, number 4, and this is critical, recycle that old battery responsibly.
And at the end of the day, everything we've talked about comes back to this one thing: being careful, being methodical, and being safe. If you follow these steps, you can figure out what's wrong with your battery without anyone getting hurt. Handle these things with the care they deserve, and you'll get a safe, accurate diagnosis every single time.